cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real. Hey, hey. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real.
Hi, everybody. It's me. Boy, that ended abruptly. Oh, well, a little tired when I was editing that. Welcome, 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 Julia Lee. Welcome. I think it's your first time here. Thank you for coming. Good to see everybody. I made it home. Last night I was back and I did my live last night and I forgot completely about the birthday party while I made it home by 3:30 and was going to get on the Zoom and was so tired after the travels and just wanted to get my editing done. I missed the party. Bummer. That's a bummer. So Angie was all worried about being without makeup. I literally had to pull half the hair back because 8 days of really dry weather, camping in and out in Yellowstone and whatnot in the wilderness. The grizzly bears have nothing on me when it comes to frizzy hair. So it is so good to see everybody, to be back. I'm checking in here. We've got Sparkle. Hi. How are you doing, Lori? I got your, you sent me a message and some, oh yes, I loved it. Thank you. It's very cute. She's editing right now, and Janet's here, Jay Whitty, and Nathan. Nathan, watched your pour from, I think it was from Saturday. We watched it last night. Bob and I watched it last night. We were both we sat there and went through things that we'd missed and hadn't caught up on. Of course, hadn't been able to be. And we got yours, got some Angie's. We caught up on Gavin Hardcastle on our photo tripper and some other things too. Mama Doulas, hi, nice to have you here. And I caught up on Lupe. I caught your Memorial Day pour this morning, yeah. And there's Angie. Wait, yes, it's good to be home. Good to be home. I went out this morning to my friend Patty, who's a potter, and she had a knee replacement. And just before her knee replacement, she was getting an addition put onto her studio. So yeah, it's been a little bit. So a bunch of us went over and helped clean up her studio today and move things around that she couldn't for a little bit. That was fun. Hi, Gail. Gail's here. Nice to have you. Yay. And Dee's here. Deirdre. I wasn't far from somewhere where you are. And if you're still in Alberta, I mean, yes, I know Alberta is huge, but I was really close to the border, to crossing over into Alberta on Thursday night, I think it was. Yeah, because we were in Shelby, Montana, which there's a crossing there off of, I think it's I-89, something like that. So there, yay. I'm back. Thank you, Mama and everybody. Just today I have, yes, Julia, yay. And water, yeah, Angie, I grabbed a Krabby. I thought that you guys would appreciate that. You know, we actually, when we were leaving to go on the trip, Nathan, you'll get a kick out of this. What would I do without my Krabbies? They're kind of hard to find. And we were not going through Tacoma when we were leaving, which is where the Total Wine that has it is. So we found a Total Wine in Olympia, and they had it. They didn't have very many. We bought in practically the entire stock that they had. So I had cans and some bottles, and so I was set for Krabby's in Yellowstone, which was quite nice after coming back from a 5-mile hike and seeing bears and stuff, to be able to kick my feet up and wait till the bison got away from my cabin so I could go in there and kick up and relax. So it was fun. Yes. Dee, I hope you are feeling better. First time for me, Julia. I'm so glad to have you here. I'll have to check out your channel. I'm excited to see what you do. And Gloria's here. Oh, Gloria. Oh my gosh. I will show it on, okay, when I start showing pictures from the trip. But on the way back, we were in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is where Sarah Taylor lives. And we pulled over, went to a gallery. I was looking to see if I could find the gallery that she has her things in Sandpoint, Idaho. And I couldn't. I think that the gallery I went to said she thought her things were in another gallery that was closed. So I went around the corner just to check, because she said it's just right around the corner. Well, it wasn't. What was around the corner wasn't a gallery, but was a crystal shop. That blew my mind. Oh my gosh. And I have a picture of a crystal that I had Bob stand next to, so I could take the picture so you could get a reference to the size. Bob is 6'1". The crystal was easily 4.5 feet tall. And I don't think I could put my arms around it. I know I couldn't. I took a picture. I was thinking of you, Gloria, when I took a picture. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so today, Krabby, woohoo! Just checking to make sure. I don't have a channel, no tech skills. You don't need tech skills for a channel. If you have a phone, that's all you need to have. Honest. It's true. It really is true. I've covered or not. One test said no, the other said yes. Angie, I would go with the one that's probably, be safe. Go with the one that says yes, and just do the things you need to do to keep yourself. Drink lots and lots of fluids, lots and lots. Quarantine yourself for 10 days. It's not that, what is it, Aldo? What's wrong? Oh my goodness. Hang on. Just a second, you guys. Aldo's whimpering, which means he needs to go outside, but I need to let Bob know. Hang on. Go tell Bob. Although whimpering, unless Bob gave him a bone. Down here. Yikes. Okay, go see Dad. Go on, go see him. He was so cute. He was so missed us so much. He was with Annalie, my sister Sarah, for the first half of the time we were gone, and then he was with the grandkids. And yeah, Mr. Patrol had to take care of everybody, so he's pretty tired. And anyway, so that's that. Well, all of that around. I'll spend some time. Knee pop there. I'll spend some time putting all my stuff together from the trip, and I'm going to go through it bit by bit and with the map and show where I've been and add some pictures and stories along the way. But for tonight, I have a story in reference to Memorial Day. And Julia, this is your first time here. A lot of the children's literature that I read is based in history, and in history that we don't always know about. And this is another story that just, really, it's a part of our history that I don't know another way to say it, but some parts of our history are so whitewashed, literally, to eliminate any kind of cultural reference or references to where it was established, where traditions came from. And just this is one of them. And Memorial Day is a huge event here in the United States. And Nathan and Tamara was saying that she has memorial every day down there. But it's a very big thing. I remember going to a cemetery in Yakima to put flowers on my grandparents' grave and stuff, and taking Bob with me. And literally, there were two sides in the cemetery. One was the Catholic side and one was the Protestant side. And on the Catholic side, just cracked me up. I had never, and Bob said it was pretty common. And the Protestant side, everything was in nice, neat rows and all very orderly. The Catholic side was people had pitched tents around and they had their coolers and they had picnic tables set out and they were spending the day with the relatives at the cemetery in Yakima. It was so amazing to see, but there are so many parts of our history that are forgotten or not told. And this particular one is called A Day for Remembrance, and it's about the story of one of the stories that is thought to be how Memorial Day came about. And I am going to show you first the author's note. Well, first off, I'll tell you about the author before I jump to do that. So the author, here we go, is Leah Henderson. And that's her Instagram page. Hot after there. She is an author of middle grade novels and picture books. She's got her MFA in writing and is on the faculty in Spalding. Her family were big adventurers. They would go all over the place. She is a national rower. She was on soccer teams and all this kind of things. But through seeing the world, Leah has witnessed the richness that can be found within everyone's individual story. That's why writing the world she sees is so vitally important to her. And so it's a beautiful book that she did. The illustrations are by Floyd Cooper. Now, Floyd Cooper passed away in 2021 at the age of 65. He was an award-winning illustrator. He did the illustrations for a favorite book of mine called Laura Charlotte that I have that was written by Catherine Galbraith from the Northwest. He was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he revealed that his earliest recollection of creating art was from the age of 3. He plucked a piece of gypsum board from a scrap heap left by his dad, who perched on a ladder and working on building our house. He wrote and used the chalky piece of wallboard to scratch the shapes into the side of his dad's house. Now, was this the one? Nope. Why was it that there? So let me get the other one. I had more on him. There we go. There's some images of him. He was the illustrator of Black Life for Children. He died at the age of 65. His work here, you can see his illustration style is this beautiful, realistic, but done in a soft way. His gallery. That's for those where he's been to places. I was going to see if it showed his books. Oh, there it is. So he'd done so many different books like Grandpa's Face, Laura Charlotte. This is one of my favorite books. I've had it since it came out. I think Annalena has it. Max and the Tag-Along Moon, A Dance Like Starlight, These Hands, The Blacker the Berry, Ruth and the Green Book, The Land of Milk and Honey, Ben and the Emancipation Proclamation, Brick by Brick, A Beach Trail, and many, many more that he's done the beautiful illustrations for. You can really tell his style when you look at the books. It's that almost combination between like a watercolor and pastel type look to it, that softness that it gets. So the book that I'm going to read today is called A Day for Remembering. And I want to pop here. And this is the author's note. And I'm going to turn it here and read this author's note for you. I have to kind of get a little bit bigger. Oops, maybe not. It's going to turn and see if I can make it bigger. Oh, it's not going to. Where can I see this? Oh, okay. So that, come on, get big for me. Oh, it's not going to do that. I'm having a little tech issues. Save this. I've got to switch to the page in the book. There we go. So the author's note that it says right there, that picture that you see, she says, a few years ago, I stumbled across an image of 200 or so Black children getting ready for what looked like a parade, and my curiosity was ignited. I did a quick search and found an article about the first Decoration Day. There are over a dozen places that lay claim to this distinction. However, a story from Charleston, South Carolina, at the end of the Civil War, caught my attention. A procession of 10,000, mostly newly freed enslaved people, led by almost 3,000 Black children. Sadly, it is a moment of our country's history that has not garnered much attention, but for me, a spotlight suddenly blazed bright. Every year on Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, we remember the men and women in the armed forces who died in service to our country, but many may be unaware of its beginnings. Regardless if you believe, as I do, that this Charleston event was the first community-led observance of Decoration Day, it is important to consider the significance of the gesture of these once enslaved people towards the soldiers who lost their lives fighting in part for their freedom. Above all else, that May Day was a gathering to honor and to remember those who, as Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, gave the last full measure of devotion. And we too should remember their sacrifices and community show of thanks. So this story is based in a factual event. And we're going to go back to the beginning, and we are going to open the book, get us to the front. I'm getting back to the first page. It is a powerful picture, and it is quite old. I can't see on mine right now. I'm going to take, that took that. That may be my phone has been, I'm due for a new phone, you guys. It's been locking up bad on me, and I can't see it won't even expand. Oh well. But we'll go to the story. So here is the book, A Day for Remembering, inspired by the true events of the first Memorial Day. Written by Leah Henderson, illustrated by Coretta Scott King Award winner Floyd Cooper. Look at that beautiful flower. So it says, in 1861, the United States of America was torn apart by a civil war, with the northern states, the Union, fighting the southern states, the Confederacy. The North wanted to keep the country intact, both North and South, and to ensure that all people were equal by abolishing slavery. The South did not agree, and these states sought to establish themselves as their own country separate from the North, the Confederate States of America. They also sought to keep slavery. The war was fought for 4 years until 1865, when the Confederacy surrendered to the Union. The United States remained united and slavery was abolished. Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, was established to honor those who gave their lives while fighting in the Civil War. The holiday was since evolved to commemorate all American military personnel who have died in any and all wars. This is a story of what many consider the first Memorial Day celebration. "9 days in a row. Papa got up early and gone again. I still can't go with him, though. He said, 'Eli, school's where you need to be, reading and counting.' But I am counting, right here, day 9. Not following after Papa is harder than holding a hot potato in my hands. He said important work has to be done, man's work. I rose on my toes, then pushing out my chin, stretching as tall as my 10-year-old self could, but it made no difference. I imagine him out there standing up to folks who spit in our faces, call us names, and try to run us out of our home, mad because we aren't enslaved no more. Or I think of him putting out fires and keeping order with the 21st Colored Infantry. Hang on, turn off the heat there. Union soldiers, brown like us, who marched up Meeting Street holding their heads high in victory, especially the ones who'd been enslaved here in Charleston. They were some of the first to come when the mayor surrendered the city to the Union. A, B, C, D, E. No use begging to follow Papa, though. Mama will only fuss. Eli, you know you have hard-earned right to learn, and it's what's going to get you beyond. Master's locked away learning because knowledge is in its own freedom. You're going to school, and no more words are getting split about it. Before the war, worry never let my insides alone. Always scared that Mama or Papa would get sold away, never to come back home. But today, Papa comes home as night covers the sky. Almost looking worse than after toiling in Master's fields, but those days in the fields are over. Papa said, unlike some, we aren't going back because we aren't enslaved no more. We were digging and building and painting, he says after supper. Digging, building, painting? But Papa isn't given no more answers. Wake up, Eli. Today you're coming with me. Day 10. I spring out of bed like beans in a skillet and jump into my breeches. Something important must be happening. If Papa is letting me even miss 1 second of school, my hard-earned right, and Mama isn't putting up no fuss. With molasses-smeared cornbread sliding down my throat, I race to catch Papa. His long strides are met by others as more men join us, their boots crunching against pebbles on the hard road. My new schooling helps me count 28 men in all. Shoulders back, chests out, they stomp along, ready to do real important business, Papa talks about. You need to see the work we's doing before it's all done, he says. We strut through the entrance at the Planters Racecourse, where white folks used to watch mighty horse races run before the war. But it isn't a racecourse no more. For a while, the Confederates made it a jail. Mama and ladies from the church used to sneak food to the Union soldiers held prisoner there. Skinny and sickly, those men hardly had more clothes than most lonesome slave. A newspaper man said those poor souls had no covering but the sky, and that they were heartsick, homesick, sick in body, sick in life. All because they fought against slavery and for our God-given right to be free. So over the evening paper, Mama had learned to read in secret while enslaved. She promised, we'll share every morsel we got till we got no more. But the living are gone now, and the dead lie by our feet. Without a word, Papa and the other men get to digging, hammering, and cutting wood. Papa points to the fence where some of my schoolmates have joined their papas too. Help with the whitewashing, Eli. I drag my feet, though, wanting to stay by Papa's side. but he rushes around doing more work in a minute than he's done in 3 hours on master's land. An old usher from our church pushes a painting brush in my hand, and I get to working too. As the sun beats our backs, the men sing in heavy, deep voices that rattle the dirt. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. When the sun starts slipping behind the trees, they raise an arch. Tired pinches my shoulders and my palms blaze, crisscrossed with tiny scraps from a day's hard toil. But I don't pay the sting or ache no mind. We've done good work for the soldiers who lost their lives for our freedom. The next morning, before the rooster's first gawks, I leap up. But I'm not going to school again today. None of us colored children are. This day is that important. My best mended paints and cleanest shirt wait on my blanket. Mama gathers up her basket full of Mayflower bundles. Papa straightens his hat, and we leave our yard just as our neighbors leave theirs. Black faces more than I ever seen together fill the streets with bouquets, crosses, and wreaths. I'm not sure a flower is left unpicked in Charleston. My schoolmates carry roses and hawthorns, but since I'm fastest at learning my numbers and letters, I get to carry the flag. Right out in front, I stomp knee-high like the important colored soldiers did up Meetin Street. Mama strides in her best calico dress behind us with the women, grinning proud. I can't see Papa, but I know he is somewhere in the quilt of black, brown, and white faces. In lines stretching longer than a mile, we cross into the old racecourse, singing with our fullest of hearts, John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave, but his soul goes marching on. Don't know the tune. Although we sing about John Brown, we are really singing for all the buried Union soldiers. After the last word is sung, quiet comes. Our feet shushing across the sandy soil, we circle the fresh dirt mounds with sweet-smelling petals of rose, lilac, and jasmine swirling to the ground. Thousands of hands sprinkle thousands of spring blossoms. The graves became a bed of petals and tears. The flag flaps in the breeze when I hand it off, as if waving goodbye to the Union soldiers finally at peace. Pastors preach sacrifice, abolitionists proclaim freedom, and officers bay at us to remember. Even though we are sad, we are celebrating too. My heart rests easy now. Me, Papa, and Mama can't never be sold away no more, and I'm getting my schooling, its own freedom, like Mama said. So my insides feel all good. While breaking bread, we listen to more speeches about the martyrs of the racecourse and freedom. Blurry eyes praise a Union brigade marching round the pond of blossoms. There's lots of head nodding and mm-hms as families gather round the grandstand, remembering, shedding tears, and giving thanks above. That flag never stops waving, but all my old slave time worries fly away. As the moon joins in, we leave the race course with empty hands and near bursting hearts, hoping those Union soldiers, hugged by Charleston's sweetest blooms, know we will never forget what they've given of themselves for the priceless gift of our liberty. And there's the author's note with that picture that I read. That picture was done between, it was taken by Francis Benjamin Johnson at the Whittier Primary School in Hampton, Virginia between 1899 and 1900. That when that photo is. But the roots of Decoration Day, This is what I found really, really fascinating. And this is what I said about children's literature that brings out events and stories that we never learn in school and that we don't really know about. And we've read so many of those along the way that have been just kind of swept under the rug or whitewashed or whatever, just forgotten. And I think it's wonderful that these are brought out in these books in different ways. And I admire everybody who finds these stories and puts them together for all the different things. We heard about them in the First Nations culture in Canada and in other places. I love them. I love to find them. But this says, in September 1864, during the final years of the Civil War, a well-to-do race course in Charleston, South Carolina was turned into a prison for captured Union soldiers. It was said that over 10,000 prisoners had been held in the Washington race course at one time, and that the prison was like a miniature Camp Sumter in Andersonville, Georgia, one of the worst Confederate prisons. Many of the prisons were stripped nearly bare on arrival and housed in an open section of the race course with no tents or other covering for protection. And by the time the prison closed, less than 7 months later, 257 Union prisoners had died on the grounds due to exposure, disease, and starvation. In late April 6, 1865, with the North victorious, 28 newly freed men who called themselves the Friends of the Martyrs and the Patriotic Association of Colored Men volunteered to make a respectful resting place for the fallen Union soldiers who had helped secure their freedom. They reburied the martyrs in individual plots and placed a headstone in front of each grave. Over 10 exhausting days, the men put the makeshift cemetery in order, erecting a 10-foot-high whitewashed fence with an archway over the entrance gate that read, Martyrs of the Racecourse. On May 1st, the first free May Day in the lives of the formerly enslaved 10,000 people, both black and white, gathered at the racecourse to pay respect. Nearly 3,000 black children from newly formed freedmen's schools led the way. Countless other newly freed citizens, abolitionists, missionaries, teachers, Union loyalists, officers, and even a few former slaveholders took a place in the procession. And after the children marched and sang John Brown's Body, America, Rally Round the Flag, and the Star-Spangled Banner, every person passed under the archway and scattered flowers over the graves in silence. When all had left, the tops, the sides, and the spaces between them were one mass of flowers. Not a speck of earth could be seen, recalled a special correspondent for the New York Daily Tribune. A number of ministers, military officers, and abolitionists gave speeches on 2 separate stages within the racecourse grounds. A full brigade of colored Union infantry marched around the graves and held drills on the inner area of the racecourse. Families spread out across the fields to listen to speeches and picnic into the evening as they honored the fallen and celebrated their newfound freedom. According to a special correspondent for the New York Daily Tribune, this early Decoration Day ceremony was a procession of friends and mourners as South Carolina and the United States had never seen before. A Day for Remembrance is a fictionalized account of these events. I know, Gail, how did we not know about this? This is another one of those things. There are so many things in our history that it just blows me away. So this cool book has a timeline about it on what happened from March 4th of 1861 on through it was April 14th, 1971, Memorial Day officially became a national holiday. Did you know that? It wasn't until 1970. Look at this. So 1861, the war officially ended in 1865. 13th Amendment passed in 1865. While decorating the graves of fallen Confederate soldiers, 4 women from the Ladies Memorial Association in Columbia, Mississippi, also laid flowers at the unkept graves of nearby Union soldiers. They went on. This happened in different places. In 1868, it says Memorial Day was officially observed for the first time at Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia, where both Union and Confederate soldiers are buried. Okay. Decoration Day became known as Memorial Day in 1882 to remember American soldiers lost in all wars, but the name was not officially changed until after World War II. In May 17th and 19th, President Lyndon B. Johnson officially declared Waterloo, New York, the birthplace of Memorial Day. That's when January 1st, 1971, the Uniform Monday Holiday Act was passed by Congress, which established that Memorial Day is to be celebrated on the last Monday of May. And April 14th, 1971, Memorial Day officially became a national holiday. But these are other cities that also claim the birthplace of Memorial Day: Columbus, Georgia; Savannah, Georgia; Carbondale, Illinois; Columbus, Mississippi; Waterloo, New York; Boalsburg, Pennsylvania; Gettysburg, Pennsylvania; Petersburg, Virginia; and Warrenton, Virginia. It's just amazing. All of this information. It just blows me away. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go back and check what people said. Let's see. Oh, good, Julie. Yes, I'm a big history buff. Yeah, some of those old black and white pictures that were taken, and as a photographer, knowing what those photographers had to go through, the Civil War photographers were something else. That magnolia is fabulous. 20 minutes from the... Oh, yeah. You have the heater and I have the AC on. Yeah, I did have the heater on. It was cold. Funny. But it's we had beautiful weather in Yellowstone, but like where we were, had a snowstorm there yesterday, and they had to close part of the road. And this morning there were snow tires required. Molasses smeared cornbread. Yeah. Best mended pants. You, Mama Doulis, you caught those same phrases. The molasses spread bread that slid down his throat, and the best mended pants. And his mama's in her calico dress. Oh, yay. It is a powerful story. I really wanted to share this one. I've had it in my library in my checkout for forever. In fact, when I found it, and I can check them out for 21 days, I was like, okay, somebody else is going to grab this. So I had to make sure that I had it so I could keep it for the full 21 days. And so I could read it for you. I thought it was a very powerful, I know. How many times Gail's comment about how did we not know about this? How many times have we said that same thing in the 194 of these that I've done, that it's, how did we not know about this? How did we not have this as part of our history, as something well known in our history books and we talk about? These are the kind of things that I think really need to be out there, and because they are far more unifying for us and make us appreciate all the different aspects of our country, and then some of the other things. Yeah, truth, and they don't teach it, and they pick and choose. It's interesting. There's Bob gave me a okay. he sent me a link the other day. Well, as we were heading out, he'd seen it about an educator named Lucy Calkins, whose work has come under criticism now. And it's like this things go around. And Lucy Calkins was a big person in the development of curriculum and reading and whatnot. And she took something that a curriculum, the whole language that I used to teach that came out of Australia. I took that curriculum, used it, and then she did some different things with it. And now, even though it has been widely adopted in lots of places, now she's being criticized. People are blaming it on the kids not knowing how to read as much because they had this just this whole thing. And it's this go around, come around, and there's always like 12 different sides to stuff. You know, it was one of those situations where they kind of jumped on this as everybody went full hog into this and forgot about phonics and said, oh, this will work because this isn't working. Well, yeah, one or the other doesn't work. The wonderful thing about what Australia's curriculum always had that I taught years ago. So Annalena would have been in probably first grade or so when I was doing that, second, third grade maybe, was that it was called whole language, and it was not just one part of the language. It wasn't just phonics, and it wasn't just literature or comprehension. It was the whole language. And of course, the United States, people always have to rewrite reinvent the wheel and make it better when it was really, really good. And yeah, and that's my opinion. I always really admired that curriculum down there. Used it anyway, and it was very successful. But it's that there's always something that comes about that, somebody lets in and we find things and we don't know about these things, and then somebody's criticized for this or that. I think is whatever we can do for ourselves, and what we do is when we find these type of things is to share them and say, look this is what's out there. So much more than just what we know within our little realm here. Keep it wide open. And it is, and if you guys taught kids Black history, they didn't have it, and that's why we taught our kids. They didn't have it. Yeah, and now we have it. It's part of our curriculum, and this is really true. There's always been that question, well, why are we having a special month on Black history? I'll tell you why. You read books like this and you see some of the curriculum that the things that we've had that are really an impactful part of our history. They should be. We should have, Native American History Month. We should, equally, every part of it and Immigrant History Month. All of these parts that come in and make us who we are is pretty spectacular. But then, and there's one other thing. Since it is Memorial Day, there's one other thing I'd like to read. And this is the poem. It was kind of rough to come out of the wilderness, and the first time I heard any kind of news was to hear about the horrid school shooting. And it was it was very difficult, very, very difficult. Bob sent me this poem Amanda Gorman wrote, and I'd like to share it with you. It is a beautiful, Amanda does poetry like she's the poet laureate for a reason. And it's such a vibrant young woman to be able to express herself. But I've only read it a couple times to myself, so I will try not to stumble over it, and I don't read it anywhere near as beautifully as Amanda Gorman could. But I thought I would close this Memorial Day with the reading of her beautiful poem and called Hymn for the Hurting. Everything hurts. Our hearts shadowed and strange, minds made muddled and mute. We carry tragedy, terrifying and true, and yet none of it is new. We knew it as a home, as horror, as heritage. Even our children cannot be children, cannot be. Everything hurts. It's a hard time to be alive and even harder to stay that way. We're burdened to live out these days while at the same time blessed to outlive them. This alarm is how we know we must be altered, and that we must differ or die, that we must triumph or try. Thus, while hate cannot be terminated, it can be transformed into a love that lets us live. May we not just grieve, but give. May we not just ache, but act. May our signed right to bear arms never blind our sight from shared harm. May we choose our children over chaos. May another innocent never be lost. Maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts. May everything change. And that is the end of my Memorial Day reading. Like always, you guys, it is such an honor when you invite me into your home and when you come share these stories with me. It means the world to me. And on that note, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. You know where to look. The first place you're going to find it, though, is go look in the mirror and say, "Hi, beautiful." So let's dance this Memorial Day out and celebrate our friendship, knowing each other, and the memories of all those who we keep spreading the love for. All right, guys, later.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds.
Thank you,
Feel
Leah.
alright. We won't go home. We will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard. They're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards. I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead, gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. You want to be famous with me. We could be famous. Come and be famous. You blow my mind.
Choose
Looking
children for
like a
chaos.